Hello there.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. I know we've been on hiatus for a while here. Me and Davey Boy haven't got together to record any episodes in a while, but here we are, we're back, and we're gonna try to keep it coming. We left off on the Woodstock episode.
I think
We've covered everything up until Woodstock, and now we're about to get into it.
yeah, Woodstock, yeah.
Summer of '69.
Great summer.
Welcome to Vintage and Soft with two Heifetz. Welcome to Vintage and welcome to Vintage and Soft with two Heifetz. Welcome to Vintage and welcome to Vintage and Soft. Two Heifetz. Welcome to Vintage and welcome to Vintage and Soft. Vintage and Soft. We got vintage clothing by the rack. Yeah, just check out my Insta. How you gon' argue with that? Everything you see, I manifest. I'm an architect. I think I'ma run it back. We got vintage clothing by the rack. Just check out my Insta. How you gon' argue with that? Everything you see, I manifest. I'm an architect. I think I'll have some of that.
The war was peaking. I was losing all kinds of friends. Protests were out of control. And the head shop was booming. And they came over. I don't know how it happened, but they called me. They came to the head shop and they invited me to set up this shop at Woodstock.
They came to you?
Yeah, somebody who was involved with Woodstock came. And
They just showed up at the shop.
showed up at the shop, and I was there, and they asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
What was it like to lose friends at that time?
Oh my God, it was terrible.
So would you everybody would always be hearing about people dying all the time?
People from my class especially. I graduated in 63, so 64, a buddy of mine signed up actually right after he graduated, and he was one of the first guys killed in New Hampshire in 64, early 65. Wow. A lot of guys killed, man. It was a terrible war. Nobody wanted it, and I didn't have to worry about it because I was in college. I had my head shops,
So
I had my bookstore.
If you were in college, you got exempt from the
You
draft.
got an exemption, but in 69 and early 70, he took away the exemptions. And I got literally called up to the draft board. But anyway, let's talk about Woodstock. So I got...
Okay, so you're at the beach. Someone walks into your store.
Yeah, and I said, I'm doing it. So I packed the van. I think I had two vans. I had two vans full of stuff. They gave me this place. If you watch the movie, in the Bindi Bazaar, you'll see a sign. It's up for about 16, 17 seconds called Xanadu. It's in the Woodstock movie.
Yeah, this is the Netflix special that just released.
Yeah.
So go Netflix, watch that Woodstock doc. It'll tell you all about it for those that don't know about Woodstock. It's a really good show. And yeah, Dave's booth is in there. Xanadu, right?
Yeah, Xanadu. And
What
then
did it say on it?
it said Xanadu, pipes, papers, and all that stuff. and then it goes next door to the sign and gives you about 10 or 15, 12 seconds span of the booth. It was really fun. All the booths in the Bindi Bazaar had a big kind of Indian patchwork quilt as a roof.
Cool.
Yeah.
All of them had that? They just set it up?
And it was all in the woods. It was pretty
Okay,
great.
let's rewind for a second. So if someone comes to your store and they say, we're doing this festival, it's Woodstock, it's going to have some sick musicians at it.
Everybody.
What at that time was your perception or your thoughts on that festival? Because you wouldn't have any idea that what you were about to attend would have any cultural significance at all.
Well, we've been hearing about Woodstock for a long time. It was a huge deal. And every day and every week they would be announcing like Jimi Hendrix, Crosby, Stills, Nash. Everybody. My favorite was Sly and the Family Stone. That was the greatest show I've ever seen in my life. We're talking midnight Saturday. It rained all day Saturday. Everybody was soaked, wet. People running around naked. 500,000 kids. It was incredible. midnight, Saturday night, everybody's stoned, including me and my whole staff. We closed the booth. He did 35 minutes of Gonna Take You Higher. The place went crazy. Gonna take you higher, higher. It was insane, man. Sly and the Family Stone, check that out. 450 to 500,000 people. Saturday night, midnight.
Such an epic experience.
Epic.
So, like, give us the run-up of Woodstock. Like, you just loaded the van, and then who went with you?
Oh, I took Susie Gold. I took my brother went. My buddy Billy Adams. He came for a couple days and then left in the middle. He helped us set up. They were just...
So, like, from the video, they're saying they got way more people that came than were supposed to come.
Oh, yeah.
That was the big thing with Woodstock, is it was way over attended. They had no idea everyone was going to come. So there was traffic backed up for like 20 miles.
Oh,
right?
50 miles.
So how the hell did you get in, and how did that
I came the day before it started.
So there was no traffic when you came?
Well, there was some traffic, but I came the day before it started to set up the booth. And we camped out, and there was a group of I can't remember the name now. It was like a family. I can't remember the name, but there was a family that had a huge feed the people thing. So they were cooking 24/7, and we ate there. There was hardly any food there, so if you didn't bring food, you were in big trouble because
Well, they set up a community kitchen, but then it just was too many people, right?
Yeah, too many people. But they kept cooking. I don't know how they got the food. They had rice and beans the whole weekend. We did not starve. And that was great. And we sold out everything before it even rained. Next to me was Paul Kress.
You sold out of everything you had?
Yeah, before it rained. Everything. Except the Army jackets. I brought 200 Army rain jackets in case it rained. And I just couldn't sell them. I gave them away. I threw them out. They were gone in 10 minutes. It was so much fun. We had the coolest booth. Everything was gone. We had 2 vans full of stuff. It was like we were the only ad shop. So if you didn't bring pipes or papers or, funky, we had posters and we had all kinds of stuff. And I met one of my best friends there, and the guy named Ken Bray. He had a booth called Sorcerer's Apprentice. He was selling esoteric silver, like dragons and queens and Mesopotamia copies and Egyptian-looking jewelry, and we became best friends. We're still friends. It's like 60, 50 plus years ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He was great. I spent a lot of time with him the years after Woodstock. Oh, and Art Buffum came too. Art was still a good friend of mine, although I haven't seen him much. He was from my high school. He worked at the shop. Yeah, there were about 5 or 6 of us that went, 7 maybe, 2 vans. We just had a great time. And we all had staff passes. So we got to go up around the stage, behind the stage, etc.
Did you meet any musicians?
No. I was hanging out at the booth. And
What shows did you actually see?
I saw Joe Cocker. I saw Richie Havens. Oh, I saw, of course, Sly and the Family Stone. I saw Jimi Hendrix do the Star Spangled Banner.
Nice.
That was so awesome. And that was like 2:33 in the morning, or 1 o'clock in the morning or something. Knocked it out. Yeah.
So, let's talk about the drugs, Dad. Let's talk about the drugs.
I didn't take any
You
hard
can talk
drugs.
about it here. It's okay.
I didn't take any hard drugs.
Okay, have you?
I took some acid.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple times.
Let's talk about this for a second. So,
That was crazy, man.
had you taken acid before Woodstock?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't take acid at Woodstock.
So it was just getting high, smoking weed?
Just smoking weed.
But everybody was taking acid, right?
A lot of people were taking acid.
And then there was some bad acid going around.
Yeah.
Did someone die?
No, I don't think anybody died, but I think a lot of people got rushed to the hospital. A lot of people, by the way, didn't get in. There were over 1 million people trying to get there. They turned them away 30, 40 miles from Woodstock. They blocked the roads off, turned people back. The people that did get in that didn't have a ticket, they knocked the wall down. There was a fence.
Yeah, and eventually they just said,
It's a
this
free
is for
concert.
everybody.
Yeah,
free
they
for
opened it up.
everyone, open it up.
Yeah.
And then they were cooking for everyone.
It was great. It was pretty...
No violence, right?
No violence. Zero. Everybody was taking care of each other. It was that perfect moment, in history where people just were loving kindness. It was like Buddhism almost. It was just really, really great. And before that, I was kind of a major hippie anyway. My buddy Jeffrey Zader had a dome at Scruton's Pond. There was a kind of a funky little hippie commune, and I used to go out there with my girlfriend, and we'd all sleep together, about 10 of us.
We call that a cuddle puddle.
It was a cuddle puddle. It was so innocent, but it was so fun.
So what the heck happens at a hippie commune, Dad? Give us the lowdown. What can you expect?
Everybody builds a dome.
A
Ken,
dome?
yeah, a dome kind
Like
of
a tent thing?
No, it's a dome.
Out
It's
of
a
what?
dome house.
Wood?
Out of wood and a dome.
Does the dome shape harness the energies of the earth?
Yeah.
Okay.
And a floor. It's most everybody had a raised floor. And Ken, who owned the place, there was a pond, and a lot of people on Saturday and Sunday we'd eat at Ken's place. I didn't live there. I was a hippie.
You would just go for the cuddle puddle.
I go for the cuddle puddle and to visit my friends. They had great parties out at Scrooge's Pond. They had some hippie weddings. They were awesome.
Nice.
Hippie weddings.
Nowadays everyone just tries to make their wedding look like a hippie wedding.
Yeah.
This was a real deal hippie wedding.
It was a real deal.
So what do people do there? They all just pitch in, they work together, they cook together, but nobody works, right?
Oh, people have jobs.
So they leave the hippie commune to go to a job?
Sometimes, and a lot of the guys living in this commune were going to school.
Okay.
Like my best friends, Jeffrey and Razel, who unfortunately aren't with us anymore. That was a tragic story, man. They were my best friends. And I loved them. They were so great. And my brother was kind of a hippie, kind of not a real hippie, but kind of an outside hippie. And my brother was on his way to Mexico, and he drove Razel, I think it was my brother. Anyway, they got caught in a snowstorm. My brother went for help. I think it was, no, they weren't, no. They didn't go with my brother. They were going down to visit my brother and his girlfriend in Mexico. And they got caught in a snowstorm in Colorado, and the guy left the car running to go get help. And when he came back, Jeff and Razel were dead. They got asphyxiated.
They had fallen asleep in the car, and the exhaust had pumped itself back into the car because of the snow buildup, and they died.
That's exactly right.
It's tragic, man.
I went to both funerals. It just was tragic. So tragic.
So how were these people friends of yours from that era, from the commune?
From college. Jeff and I were both philosophy students, and Razel went to school at UNH, and she was his girlfriend. They lived in New York City often. Jeff went to Union. What's the big school in New York? Columbia. He was going to become a priest, like a non-religious kind of priest. But his brother was the head chaplain at Yale University. Great guy. That was pretty tragic. That was pretty tragic.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna.
So after Woodstock.
Well, no, we haven't even touched on Woodstock yet. We're only 10 minutes in, and Woodstock is the most exciting thing ever.
Well, I'll tell you, man.
Let's talk about this for a second. Okay, Woodstock was the turning point when people realized that you could get that many people together and be peaceful, right?
That's exactly
That's why it became a cultural
phenomenon.
Yeah, cultural phenomenon, and so culturally significant. Everyone.
No police.
Everyone's heard.
No police. There wasn't a cop inside the ground. The security was run by the Woodstock people.
And up until that point, hippies were probably looked at like skateboarders were, or any outside subculture was to the adults, essentially, right?
Exactly.
Because they were not, but in the end of the day, they all just wanted to be peaceful and have a good time. Same with most subcultures.
And we didn't want war. We didn't want the Vietnam War. That was one thing we were all agreed on. We didn't want the war. We thought it was an unjust war, a stupid war, which in the end it was, by the
Well,
way.
aren't they all?
They're all.
Pretty much.
But unless, I mean, I don't know about World War II when the Germans were pushing everybody.
No, that was okay. That was
That was
just
pretty bad, you know. Judy and I went to Auschwitz, and we were freaked out by Auschwitz. I mean, that was...
So, I've been to many festivals. I also have sold clothes at many festivals, taken after the old man here. One such festival was Shambhala, which is a ravey, hippie festival in the forest. And, you know, the stages are all amongst the trees, and there's tree houses everywhere, and there's all these nature walks you can go on.
We didn't have any of that. This was at a farm
This is at a
called
farm,
Tasker's
yeah.
Farm. Open fields. They built this huge stage. I mean, the stage was amazing. Most of the groups flew in by helicopter.
I said no, they all did.
Yeah, they all flew in by
because you
helicopter.
couldn't drive in, and plus they didn't want to stay there, right?
No.
They're all get out.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is that I was hesitant to go to that festival because I was already like mid to late 20s at that point. But
to Shambhala.
to Shambhala, I didn't want to go there because I was like, you know, I've outgrown this part of my life. But in the end, I enjoyed myself so much because there's something about these festivals, which Woodstock started, I think, is that everyone is there to have such a good time and spread the love and connect to each other and just enjoy and get away from their everyday life and love each other.
And just not have any restrictions and not have any
No
social...
no holding back
Yeah.
and no judgment on each other and no inhibition. And until you really go experience festivals like this, you can't even understand it. Sort of.
No. You just can see it on TV. You got to experience.
It's a feeling. It's a feeling that you can't look at. You can't see it. You have to experience it.
It's like that now in that one they have out in the desert. What's that called?
Burning Man.
Burning Man. I've talked to so many people. They get 50, 70, 100,000 people out in the desert for 10 days. And they all pitch up and build these camps. And
there's no money. It's just bartering systems.
bartering system. You share your food.
You're cooking for each other. You're having fun. The kids come.
It's awesome, man. And then the big thing about Burning Man, not a piece of paper is left there after it's over. Everything is exactly the way it was when they got there.
Which is not the case with Woodstock. I've seen the
Woodstock
aftermath.
It was a disaster.
That would have been the worst thing to clean up, although you probably would have found some interesting stuff.
Probably.
Papers, papers, acid.
So anyway, I get up on the stage because I'm tired. I've been there 5 days now. I'm burnt out.
Give me the lead up to this story. This you need to tell us the lead up.
Yeah. So you know, I'm. It's hard to sleep. We slept in the booth. It's wet. Next to the booth was Paul Krasner and Hoffman, the famous rebels, and they had a booth there. And anyway, to make a long story short, I was tired. I wanted to go home. I hadn't seen my crew for 6-7 hours. They were all over the place. People were starting to leave, and so I had a press pass. So they let me up on stage. They let me up on stage as soon as Jimi Hendrix was finished.
So this is the morning of the last day, right? Because he played in the morning?
No, he played at like 1 in the morning. 1
Oh,
a.m.
okay.
So they gave me the mic, and I said, right after Jimmy was done, Xanadu crew, if you don't get back to the van, you're staying here forever because I'm out of here. So within an hour, everybody got back to the van, and it took us forever to get out. We finally got out 6 or 7 or 8 in the morning. And on the way back to New Hampshire, I'll never forget, we were all starving. So we go into this little restaurant in the middle of nowhere in upper state New York, and it's like 8 or 9 in the morning, and we're dirty and we're smelly and we look like the cat dragged us out of a hole. And 6 or 7 of us walk in, and the girl sits us, and you could tell she can't believe who we are. And I take out a wad of money. I made so much money, and I threw it on the table, and I just said, "Feed us." The girl couldn't believe it. There's a stack of 20s and 10s, and You know, in those days, 69, down $10, it's like having a $100 bill now. And it was great. We had such a good meal. She brought us eggs and bacon and cheese and toast and orange juice and fresh fruit. And I said, just feed us anything you got. It was great. Yeah, then we got home and I took a couple of days off. And then Art and I heard about the Miami Pop Festival. So we closed, we took off for the Miami Pop Festival.
That's cool.
And we
So
did-
what else? What other stories you got from Woodstock?
Oh, man.
Is there any memories that stand out to you?
I was stoned most of the time. It's really hard to bring it up to memory.
Yeah.
But Janice Persons came. She was great. She was John Persons, one of my high school. John was still a friend of mine after high school. And she worked for me, Janice, and then Sue Gold, and then Billy Adams, who's still a very, very close friend of mine, one of my closest friends. And then my brother Rick, who turned in to be a lawyer. Rick,
He was a shit disturber in those days.
He was a shit disturber in those days. And
I think we might have touched on Rick in some other episodes.
Yeah, he was crazy, man. And then,
So,
yeah.
explain, like, you saw a bunch of the shows. Where were you sitting or standing, or where were you in the crowd during the shows?
Well, I tried to stay up on the hill. It was like a hill, like this, and then the stage. And when it rained, there was lots of water in the low-lying areas. So I didn't go down there. And I don't remember
But
a lot.
it was like a natural amphitheater, right?
Yeah.
So where was the booth compared to that?
Booth was in the woods. There was a small area in the woods where they set up about 15 or 18 booths. And I was so privileged to be able to have a real booth. It was really something. I didn't have a lot to pack up when I left. It was just threw in a few things and that was it. It was
Wild.
It was wild. But Miami was really great too, because Art and I drove down in the van. We only took one van down, and we got a booth. And at Miami, I met one of my longtime partners, Jack Weishout. He was there with his wife and his baby. He had a booth. He was doing leather goods. And Art and I were selling pipes and papers and incense and posters and some army clothes. We did really, really well. We had a big wad of money. And we didn't go back. We stayed there.
You stayed in Miami?
We stayed in Miami. Art was a real womanizer. And I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. And Art didn't have a girlfriend at the time. So there was a place called Coconut Grove just outside of Miami, which was a really hippie area. And in the Grove, every day at lunchtime from 12 to 3, they had free lunch.
Nice.
The hippies cooked a big free lunch for all the guys who wanted to come. So we hung out in Coconut Grove, and Art just got lots of girlfriends, and I used to get the leftovers, and some nights I'd sleep on the couch, and Art would be in there with this beautiful woman. Oh my God, it was so crazy. It was so crazy.
So, you remember 1994?
94. What was 94?
We went to Woodstock at the anniversary.
Oh yeah, that's right. 94. I took the kids and with my buddy George.
George and his kids.
And his two boys. I took Jess and Andrew. And
1994, 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
We did it up.
We did it up. I had a friend who was a promoter for one of the big record companies, and they had a big tent. You remember that?
Yeah, we had backstage.
Yeah, we had backstage passes, and we camped. It rained again, right? One night.
Oh yeah, it rained crazy, and then I remember we tried to leave early, and it was like a mud pit, and everyone was I'm sure everyone listening to this has seen the photos, but if you haven't, just Google Woodstock '94, and you'll see it was a mud bath, and everyone was mudsliding and getting naked and getting soaked and just going crazy that last day.
Yeah.
That last day was crazy. And then the parking lot was like a swamp.
Oh,
so
yeah.
no cars could get out because you parked in like a cow pasture.
Yeah.
So when it poured rain, it was just mud. And everyone was stuck.
What was your impression of being there with your dad?
I was so young. I was 14. I was too young to really enjoy the music as much as I would have later on,
How about Jess?
He would have. He was 16. He probably enjoyed it more than me and had better memories of the music. But I remember listening to Metallica. from that backstage area. I don't even remember a lot of the bands, to tell you the honest truth. But it was a crazy lineup. And I remember like being backstage. I remember where we had our tent set up backstage. And I remember walking around the festival and everyone was just going nuts. I was just too young to like appreciate it.
Yeah, my buddy George not with us anymore. George Paley owned half a dozen great stores in Lawrence, Kansas. He was a customer of mine, and we became really good friends, and his wife Judy, and he died of pancreatic cancer. Boy, that was sad. He fought it for 8 years. To be, as soon as he got pancreatic cancer, he quit that day. He quit his business, gave it to his kids. He owned a lot of property, became an artist. And for 8 years, he did art and went to all these free clinics for his pancreatic cancer. Great guy, George Paley. Wow.
So what memories do you have from 94?
Well, there were some current bands there. Do you remember?
They were all current.
No, there was some old. Crosby, Stills played from the old. There were half of them.
Well, yeah, there was lots of bands from my generation, from that era.
Yeah. I had a good time.
Let's look up the lineup. 1994. Let's look it up.
Let's look it up.
Okay, keep talking about something.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, Art and I went to the thing, and then I met this
Keep
guy.
talking about 94.
Well, I don't remember a lot about 94, except George was there. We had a couple of tents. I had this friend who worked for the record company, and we got to get out of the rain because there was a huge tent behind the stage that was promoted, and we had a pass to it, and they had beer in there, so I remember being able to drink, because you weren't allowed to drink alcohol outside, and they always had a buffet, so we weren't hungry the whole time. I don't remember the guy's name, but he was so good to me. Wow. Hey, you got a Burton jacket up there, huh?
Yeah, the whole wall's covered in Burton. Okay, here's the band. There was something called I remember this. They had rave stock. So after the bands played, they turned on rave stock, and I remember now. This is good. We gotta look this up. Me and Jesse went raving, and they would just turn the big stages into like a rave, like electronic thing.
Really?
Yeah. So that was sick. Okay, Violent Femmes, Candlebox, Collective Soul, Sheryl Crow, King's X, James, Live, Del Amitri, Jackal, Blues Traveler, Huffamoose, The Goats, Peace Bomb, The Paul Luke Band, Lunch Meat, ABBA Rage, Futu Futu, 3, Masters of None, Rogue. Oh, this is just one stage. Jeez. That was just day one. Hold on. Okay, Saturday. Joe Cocker, Blind Melon. I remember seeing Cypress Hill. That was sick. Rollins Band, Melissa Etheridge, Crosby, Stills and Nash. You're right. 9 Inch Nails, Metallica, Aerosmith.
Aerosmith. Oh my God. I remember them, and I saw Joe Cocker and Crosby.
Side note to Aerosmith, my first concert of all time with a date was Aerosmith. Shout out Eliza Lai. I took you. I don't know how I got tickets to Aerosmith, but this is at the Sky Dome.
Really?
Yeah, in Toronto, the Sky Dome in Toronto. Somehow I won tickets to Aerosmith because I was not an Aerosmith fan.
Did you like it?
But yeah, it was super cool because it was like a stadium concert, like a real stadium concert, right?
Wow.
Like there's a difference between like going to see a band at like a big bar venue or like a stadium venue where they have like pyrotechnics and like, when you go see Iron Maiden, it's like a show. It's like a Broadway show.
Yeah, and they wear these outfits.
Outfits, changes of outfits.
Crazy.
Like it's crazy. So that was my first like stadium show, Aerosmith. I took Eliza Lai. Had to get Mom, or maybe you took us and dropped us and then picked us up.
Eliza Lai.
Because it's like an hour away from home. Anyway, but then also, I grew up with my homie Jesse Kramer, who is Joey Kramer's son from Aerosmith. So I got to go to Joey Kramer's house when I was in high school. The drummer, I have all these weird ties to Aerosmith. I got to go to Joey Kramer's house, who is the drummer from Aerosmith. I was actually biking with Jesse Kramer last weekend in Pasadena during the Rose Bowl. He's still a good friend of mine. He got to go on tour as their backup drummer, I believe, recently. And anyway, Aerosmith. Much love to Aerosmith.
Who else was playing?
Okay, so then we got the South Stage. Nene Ninad Bach, the Cranberries. I probably didn't see that, but I should have. Yusu Endure, the band, Hot Tuna, Primus. Fuck, did I see Primus? My memory's so bad at this. I wish. Salt and Pepper.
You were a kid, man.
I was a kid. I was a baby.
Can you believe I brought my 14-year-old son? But I knew Jesse would watch it.
Okay, you want to hear? This is funny. Notable events from Woodstock 1994. Blind Melon frontman Shannon Hoon played Woodstock in his girlfriend's dress while tripping on LSD.
Oh, great. Just great.
Just great. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Heifetz twin performance was cut short when promoter disconnected him mid-show for singing a fake name on a for signing a fake name on a contract which would forfeit Polygram's rights to his performance. No shit. So they pulled his plug because he signed the wrong name, so they couldn't use his music in the later releases of the album or something.
Wow. Did they release a 94 album?
Oh yeah. Okay, we're back. Okay, Nine Inch Nails had the largest crowd density at the event, overshadowed many of the other performers. Just before going on stage, they wrestled each other in the mud and went on to perform completely wet and covered in mud. I told you it was crazy rainy and muddy and everyone was just going for it. It was like, there's sick videos, you gotta Google it. I'll try to put some on, I'll put a couple clips on here. Reznor admitted that while he disliked playing at such a large show, it was done for the money. To be quite frank, it's basically to offset the cost of the tour we're doing right now. Their performance of Happiness is Slavery at the festival won the Grammy Award for Best Metal Performance in 1996. Oh, here we go. Aerosmith, Joey Kramer, Joe Perry, and Steve Tyler were all at the original Woodstock Festival in 1969.
That's right.
Aerosmith performed around 3 to 4 a.m. right after an extensive fireworks display from Metallica. Tyler said on the liner notes from the album during their set, "It rained like a cow pissing on a flat rock."
It always rains at these Woodstock events.
Oh, this is sick. During Primus' performance of the song My Name is Mud, the audience responded by pelting the band with mud, which singer-bassist Les Claypool ended by informing the crowd that, you know, when you throw things on stage, it's a sign of small and insignificant genitalia. Claypool claims that he still has mud in his bass cabinets as late as 2014.
Great. The world of Woodstock. They tried to pull off the 50th. I was going. I was going to try to get a booth. I still have my Xanadu sign from 1969 at the beach. I was going to bring it with me, but they couldn't pull it off. Nobody could pull it off. It didn't happen, which was a real disappointment.
Bummer.
Bummer. But the good news is, at Miami Pop, I began my career as a ragman because I met one of my two partners, Jack Weishaupt. It was Jack and Marty and Dave. Marty I already knew from the beach. Jack I met at the Miami Pop, became very good friends with him. Oh, telephone.
Just turn it off.
I will. I will. Sorry.
Jeez, rude. So rude. There's people out there spending their own time. They're taking their own time out of their day to listen to us right now.
I forgot to turn it off. I'm sorry. Anyway, I gotta go. I gotta get down to the States.
We haven't even done we've hardly done anything.
Really?
This is short.
Okay, let's do more. So, anyway, I met Jack, and then Jack and I and Marty in 1970.
Okay, I'm going to go back to Woodstock 69 for a sec, okay?
Yes.
Let's see if we can get some memories happening here.
Go ahead.
Okay. Richie Havens. Did you see it?
Yes, great. Fabulous.
Okay, it says, was moved up to the opening performance slot after Sweetwater were stopped by police en route to the festival, and other artists were delayed in the freeway. So you saw that one?
Yeah.
How was it?
Fabulous.
What about Sachindananda?
I saw
Saraswati?
I saw Santana.
That's not Santana, is it?
No, I didn't see the next person.
Sweetwater?
No.
Burt Summer?
Burt Summer, I caught one song.
Tim Hardin?
No.
Ravi Shankar?
No. Ravi Shankar was the Beatles' favorite human.
He played Through the Rain, apparently. What about Melanie? Arlo Guthrie?
I saw Arlo, and I've seen Arlo 3 or 4 times since, and he's still playing. He's in his early 70s like me, and doing really well.
Joan Baez or Baez?
No, I didn't. Joan Baez, she was famous, man.
Country Joe McDonald?
Yes, Country Joe and the Fish. Fantastic.
Santana, you saw.
Oh, Santana. Carlos Santana! I love Carlos.
It
He
says
was
that
the
his
best.
drummer, Michael Shreve, was the youngest musician to play at the festival.
Wow.
John Sebastian,
No.
Keith Hartley Band,
No. I was busy at the booth.
Grateful
a lot.
Dead.
I did see the Grateful Dead, but not the whole performance.
Their set ended after a 50-minute version of Turn On Your Love Light. 50 minutes.
50 minutes.
50 minutes!
That's sick.
That's
man.
crazy!
They are the best. The Dead were the best. I took
Holy
these
moly.
guys to see the Dead. Was it you? No, it was Jesse and
No, it was me.
UK.
Yeah.
You.
That was sweet. So that was also probably 1994 or 1993. 1993.
In Buffalo, New York.
Grateful Dead, Buffalo, New York, Rich Stadium, home of the Buffalo Bills. You want to know what the definition of contrast? Going to a Buffalo Bills tailgate party, then going to a Grateful Dead parking lot party.
Yeah.
That is about as opposite as you can get in the same place.
That's right.
And we probably did both within the span of a month.
What a fun thing, huh?
Oh man, because my dad, aka the Don, had Buffalo Bills tickets for the glory years when the Bills went to Super Bowls 3 years in a row and lost 3 years in a row.
That was sad.
Buffalo Bills. Boy, I love losing Super Bowls.
I love those guys, though. Marv Levy,
But
forever.
that's,
Jim Kelly,
Okay,
Bruce
so
Smith, Bruce.
you go to a Buffalo Bills game, probably the best tailgate parties of all time in my opinion, although I've only been to a few stadiums. It's like you got, guys painted in Zubaz, Buffalo Bills stripe paint, partying, eating chili dogs, drinking kegs of beer. Like, what else goes on at tailgate?
Oh, man. Just getting ready for the game.
Playing beer pong and
Getting
whatever.
ready for the game, man. Getting psyched.
Just getting fired up, getting real fired
Getting
up.
real fired up, man. 65,000 people. I sat in that stadium in a foot of snow. That's how devoted those guys were. And there wasn't a seat available.
And then we go to the Grateful Dead concert, and it's a bunch of hippies getting high, selling T-shirts in the parking lot.
That's right.
Friggin'.
It's like a hippie little...
like one of
little
those Tibetan
market.
Tibetan prayer flags waving in the breeze.
Yeah.
What else? How can we paint this picture any better?
It's like a Bindi Bazaar for hippies.
Oh man,
It was
just
unbelievable.
peace and love, baby, peace and love. And that concert was
good.
Sting and the Grateful Dead. Do you remember?
Sting?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
it was Sting and Grateful Dead.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was Sting and Grateful Dead. I remember we went with, so it was you, me, Rich, your employee.
Rich Lebedeck?
Rich Lebedeck, was it not?
I think so.
And also the other guy. The guy who made all the t-shirts later on?
What's his name?
Anyway, a couple of my dad's employees. My brother and his buddy Benji. I was so young, I wasn't really smoking dope yet, but Benji and Jesse were, so they snuck off to go get high somewhere in the crowd. We had seats. There was like a, obviously there was floor tickets and there was seated tickets, right?
Yeah, we had
We had seats, yeah.
Wow, I remember. I can't remember his name.
It doesn't matter. It was a great time. I did get the T-shirt from that show later on. I don't know if we bought T-shirts from that at the event then,
remember.
but I recently refound a T-shirt from that Buffalo show, which I still have, and I got it from Sean Witherspoon. Shout out Sean Witherspoon for hooking that shirt up. He gave it to me, I believe, as a gift. And yeah, super sick show. That was like a highlight. While we're on the subject of concerts, first concert my dad ever took us to was the Victory Tour, Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, that was so much fun. Mom went.
Was that also Buffalo?
That was Buffalo.
Also Buffalo,
was
New
Mom
York?
there too, or no?
I don't think so. I think you took Jesse and me. Maybe
Oh.
No, I don't think so.
They wore their Michael Jackson jackets. They had these cute little Michael Jackson. We went crazy. We loved it. It was.
I literally spent the whole concert on top of my dad's shoulders, so I could see over the crowd.
It was awesome.
Because I was so young.
That was awesome. Michael Jackson. Shout out, man.
Shout out Michael Jackson. That was the Victory Tour. Was the last tour with his brothers when they were transitioning out of being the Jackson 5.
They were so good. They They had dancers to knock your feet off. I mean, it was great.
Yeah, that's a stadium show. Lights, pyrotechnics.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's going on, man. It's like a full sensory overload.
So how old were you? 11, 12?
No, I would have been like, this was the 80s. I would have been like 5.
Nah, not that young.
Yep.
5?
I would have been like 5, Dad, because I'll look it up right now. Victory Tour, what year was it?
Buffalo, Victory Tour, yeah. No, I think you have to be at least 8 or 9.
No.
No?
So, keep talking.
Well,
What else do you remember about the Victory Tour?
I remember that it was so much fun, and the
84, I was 4 years old.
you were 4 years
I was
old.
4 years old. Jesse was 6. I remember being very little.
No.
I was on your shoulders.
Mom must have came
Dad,
with
I
us.
couldn't be on your shoulders at 8 years old.
Okay, but Mom must have came with us. She wouldn't have let me take you by yourself.
Maybe she came. Yeah, she probably came. She must have come.
Mom must have came. We all went.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So anyway, that was a weird little interlude. So, what do you remember?
Not much. I don't remember these things. I remember going. I remember the wonderful dancing on the stage. I remember Michael Jackson singing with his thing. But I remember the choreography was fantastic. He put it together really well. And it was fun. Just a great time. I had a really, really good time. We used to go a lot in Buffalo to an Italian restaurant called
Chefs.
Chef's.
If you're in Buffalo, go check out Chefs.
Great.
It's a great, great restaurant. Been there for like 50 years. I don't know how long.
We used to stop all the time on the way to the ski chalet. We
Also, La Hacienda Pizza Place.
They make great food too.
Yeah, good spot. Check it out.
Yeah.
I think we should get back to talking about drugs, though.
Drugs.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Why not talk about drugs?
I didn't do a lot of drugs. I did a lot of weed.
Yeah, you were an entrepreneurial hippie. You were a entrepreneur-nippie.
Entrepreneur.
I coined that term right now, so if you're going to use it, please,
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. He was an entrepreneurial hippie, so he probably didn't do as much drugs as the actual hippies, because he was busy trying to make his life happen. But can you remember doing acid?
Oh yeah, I did it with 2 other guys. I don't even.
The first time?
Yep, I don't remember what their name was, but I remember we were so whacked. We did it in Dover, New Hampshire, and we ended up walking around town just crazed out, and we spent about a half hour.
So you walked around town and you were interacting with other people.
I think we were, but I remember the thing that I remember the most is we got to a McDonald's, and we got up to the glass of the McDonald's. And the 3 of us were looking in the glass at the McDonald's as if it was a movie theater. And people were looking at us like we were crazy. And then finally we realized we better get out of here. They may call the police or something. So we left. It was crazy, man.
That's awesome.
I don't remember all that stuff. I just remember
staring at people eating their Big Macs.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was like a movie.
Like back in those early days, like when acid hit this, because acid would have been a new drug then, right?
And a lot of my friends did it. And they did it consistently. They would trip out.
Do you ever have any friends that did too much and they never came back to be normal?
No, I don't think so. No.
There was a few people from our generation.
I think most of my friends were in college. So they had college on one hand and they had their rebellious thing on the other. Great parties. And I also, when I was in college, I went to a lot of fraternity parties. My buddies from high school all ended up football players, and they were in Theta Chi. So I used to go to their parties. So I was kind of on the edge a little of the other side of the world. Yeah.
Living on the edge.
On the edge.
What other drugs were popular back in those days?
Oh boy.
Cocaine?
Cocaine. I did some cocaine. Yeah, I did some cocaine. That was a sex drug, really. That was crazy. But mostly I did weed. And I tried never to smoke when I was around my shop. That was not very cool.
Even though it was a weed shop, head shop?
Yeah, but I'll tell you something. The police were and a shout out to the police in Hampton, New Hampshire. They really treated me well. They really didn't. They didn't come over and hassle me. They never tried to close me. They never tried to interfere with my business. They were good people. They really were. Anyway, I gotta really go, man. I gotta drive. So
Okay, we're gonna call it at that.
Yeah.
We're gonna go after 69. Well, I guess we'll be into the 70s.
We'll be in the 70s and the start of the rag machine. How it got started, how the first wholesaler of rags got started. We'll talk about the grass is greener in Vermont. We'll talk about...
That's way later.
That's way later. Hey, what was my store in...
Greener Pastures?
No, my store in Manchester.
South Pacific?
No, not South Pacific.
Rag Barrier?
Rag Barrier. We'll talk about the Rag Barrier.
Too many stores.
Oh yeah, the Rag Barrier was great. Just great. I mean,
thank you, Dad.
you're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Hey, nice talking to you guys.
We will be back soon. If you got this far on the podcast or the video, please like it. Please share it with your friends.
Yeah.
Please subscribe to the channel. Please give me a review on iTunes. Dave's life depends on it.
Nah, no, it doesn't. Drew likes doing this stuff. He enjoys it. So I'm going to support him. He's my son.
Okay.
Yeah. Go out. Frankie Collective.
Yeah,
Get
check
those
out
rags.
Epic and Frankie Collective. Enjoy your lives. Be good to each other.
Peace, love, and happiness.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.